Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you very much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take a look here at Scrt Network, help you understand a little bit more about best practice and big picture, and ultimately just learn as much as possible. I love teaching people how to trade. I hope you can learn something here today. I've been trading for a very long time, over 15 years, and my goal is to help you become a better trader. I created a trading academy, community, and signal group with that specific purpose in place. So CryptoCache.tech is a site, link in the description below. Consider becoming a member. We've got over 250 members presently, and it's a really awesome experience. So I do look forward to getting to know you better if you decide you want to do that. Take a look here at Scrt though. Big picture, really looking good here today. There's no other way to around it. It's right at about 17-18% up, and that's tremendously better than any other coin we're seeing right now. And that's the main reason why I'm covering it too, because I got a lot of requests, of course. Thanks again, Mark, for requesting that I cover this here, one of my community members. Greatly appreciate your support. And take a look here though, again, just to kind of clarify with the big picture. Awesome day today so far, but how is that going to continue, and what's its history look like? And what helps is to kind of just take a quick glance at the past and see how it's performed previously. And I know I've covered this quite a few times last year when it was taking off. And ultimately, if you take a look here, you can see it did very, very well. A super strong increase from here to there, about 550% in about a month or maybe 3 to 4 weeks time. Now, what I want you to understand is that the likelihood of that happening again is very low. Most coins don't have that meteoric rise a second time. Now, you could argue the fact that this was another attempt, but that was still a longer period than this was. So generally speaking, this does definitely have great potential, and there's no doubt about that. We'll just put it that way. Keep it simple. But generally speaking, at this point, how much further is it going to go? We want to find out if it's exhausted or not. We'll look at smaller time frames to identify that. But between now and then, we're getting close to 50 on the RSI. We can see an almost bounce off of 30, which is pretty standard. Anytime you see 30 on the RSI on the daily, it's more likely than not going to reverse itself. Not necessarily always like this, but for the most part, it'll either come back up or average out sideways. But traditionally, you're going to see that be probably the bottom for a little while. That's the general consensus. That being said, looking here at the MACD, we have a potential convergence. We're still a long ways away from that based on this overall downtrend we've seen here. Because you got to keep in mind, even though we're up 17% today, in the last 6 or 7 days of trading, we're down 21%. It's kind of equaling itself out, but also not great either. That's why these averages are taking a little while to average because they're obviously below that. Speaking of averages, we're looking at simple moving averages. Those are also above the price action, implying their potential resistance. So we could see a slowing point at $5 even and or $5.10, which is a Fibonacci retracement level that was tested 3 times in a row and rejected. Okay, so right around 5 to 510 is a pretty strong resistance channel. Looking at the 4 hour, we can see price is breaking through that simple moving average tentatively so far. That's fantastic news. This is a lot of volume in a short amount of time, though. Just keep that in mind. Speaking of volume, we take a look at this here. We see that probably the most amount of volume now than we have seen in a long time. So that's a very good sign. That kind of tells us we're back on track. Because a lot of times when you see a price increase with low volume, it implies sensitivity to the downside. In other words, it'll probably get broken down quickly and it'll sell off fast because there's basically just saying there's only buying pressure, no selling pressure. This implies that we're having buying and selling pressure and the price is essentially still increasing. Therefore, the bulls are in control. So in the 4 hour time frame, we can extract that we're back above both moving averages. We are also above on the MACD here, where the 12 is intersected with the 26 in an upward fashion, giving us that MACD convergence. So this gives us all the telltale signs of a positive breakout here that should likely continue. Once again, that's how it's looking based on the fact we have a lot of volume. And volume is definitely something you want to listen to. No pun intended. So taking a look here at the 1 hour, let's go ahead and wrap up here and kind of see TD sequential is probably getting overextended. We're at a 9+1. Therefore, we should expect somewhat of a turnaround if we were to see one. I don't think it's super significant. Back down to 460 perhaps, because you can see, look at this, tested once, twice, 3 times, and then it finally broke through, or no, 4 times, and then the 5th time it broke through this resistance level. So you can see that the fact that it had that much trouble, that much struggle getting through that resistance level and spent so much time there tells us this should work as a support level now. So if it comes back down, $4.60 should essentially be the bottom. All right, but again, we're overextended here on the 9 hour, or sorry, I keep saying 9 hour. On the 1 hour, we're 9 hours into a continuation, and you can kind of expect the price to go sideways or pull back from here. May not happen, but it probably likely should, if that makes sense, okay? The last thing we want to look at is being over the cloud. Conversion lines above the baseline, lagging spans free and clear of any price action, and we're well above the clouds. So all in all, we have all green lights here in that sense to effectively consider taking a position. I just might expect or anticipate, perhaps exercise some patience and wait for the price to pull back a little bit further perhaps before you take entry, because 460 should be the likely bottom here for this coin. Again, it's looking pretty good in the grand scheme of things, and I do think that overall we should expect the price to inevitably continue higher. As long as we can maintain this amount of volume moving forward, we'll be in good shape. If you see a dip in volume tomorrow and the price going sideways, be ready for a potential sell-off based on the simple fact that there's no selling pressure, and the fact that the volume is low will imply that it's going to come back down. I know it sounds kind of weird or counterintuitive, but I can assure you that's usually how it works. So anyways, that's kind of how it looks here. A Scrt network looks really great on the 1 hour, just overextended. 4 hour transitionary time frame looks awesome. And the likelihood of it continuing higher, we got to consider too, this is always the caveat and the elephant in the room, is Bitcoin. Because obviously we saw what happened yesterday when Bitcoin misbehaved. Bitcoin does the same thing again, which is potentially a reality at this point. I think it's best to come to terms with the fact that Bitcoin could continue to go lower with that bear flag pattern. Take a look at my other video. Of course, I review Bitcoin every single day, but generally speaking, it's not looking fantastic. So if that were to happen again and we break below a key level support of 37,700, then we could see a correction from Scrt be larger than expected. But if that nonsensical stuff stays out of the equation, we should see 460 as the likely bottom and an increase from there. All right, hopefully you found benefit here. Thank you again so much for joining me here. Once again, also, thank you to my current community members for your amazing support and obviously being a great part of my life. Thank you so much for that. I look forward to working with all of you. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Once again, CryptoCache.tech is the website, link in the description below. Have a good one. Thank you.